We raved about the Edifier NeoBuds Pro and recommended it as the best value for money true wireless earbuds, even over brands like Sony, Bose, or Jabra. And that too without breaking the bank.
So when Edifier released the Neobuds S with a higher price tag, there's only one question that comes to mind. Who asked for this? Goedendag weer, DHRME. Deze headphones really mucho expensive.
We don't know anything about Edifier's business model, but damn, how did they fit so much at such a price point? We've done full reviews of these buds here and also put them very high on our best wireless earbuds list here. And you know what? They check pretty much every box on the true wireless earbud list. So here's a little recap on the NeoBuds Pro. If you want to jump to the section about the Neobuds S, go right ahead using the chapters down below. For sound, it comes with the LDAC codec, one of the highest quality codecs available for wireless audio. It also comes with dual drivers, one of the first to do so, but just having those dual drivers isn't enough. Edifier is an audio company that knows what it's doing and uses those drivers to good effect. So they tune these earbuds to have a very fun, super bassy sound signature with full customization in the app, including 2 presets to choose from, classic and dynamic.
And where most cheap buds skimp on the ANC, the NeoBuds Pro does an amazing job at both active noise cancelling and transparency mode. When we first got it, we were blown away at what it could do. It comes with high and low noise cancelling modes as well as an ambient mode. And that ambient mode also has a slider to adjust the level. For us, it's still second to the best out there, the Sony WF-1000XM4 and the Bose Quiet Comfort Buds. But that's nothing to scoff at since it's in the company of the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 and Pro for noise cancelling, and in the company of the Jabra Elite 7 Pro and the OnePlus Buds Pro. The one downside of the ANC has been its inability to deal with wind, which means you'll likely hear the wind in your ears and you can't do anything about it except for turning off the noise cancelling. Even though the ambient mode works really well, you will hear some weird white noise and radio interference, but only in quiet conditions.
The NeoBuds Pro also is fairly good with phone calls. As a fuckman, I was plenty satisfied with how it brought my voice across clearly in quiet conditions. In noisy conditions, they suppress background noise well, but the voice does take a bit of a hit and sounds muffled, especially if you talk softly. There are also times when the background sounds are amplified. In windy conditions, they're a hit or miss, so we wouldn't recommend it for wind. You do get basic call controls like answering or hanging up, but that's it. No volume or mute controls. But boy, are these buds built like a tank. It's rare to see buds at any price point these days come with such a high IP rating of IP54. So if you're a rough and dirty kind of person, these will totally be your jam. And speaking of jam, the battery life on the NeoBuds Pro was average, giving you around 5 hours on the buds and an additional 15 from the case. And this is with active noise cancelling on. So 4 full cycles of use from them. Not bad at all. What was bad is that they don't have wireless charging. Moving on, we here on the channel believe strongly in whole size diversity, and that's the reason why we were happy to see that the NeoBuds Pro came with a wide selection of silicone tips in the box. Way more than your standard set. There were a few deficiencies too, but we'll get to them later. And you know what? We accept them because of one reason. That price. It was released at a ridiculous $130, and since then, it's pretty much always available around the $100 mark. So, how is the NeoBuds S different from the NeoBuds Pro?
Well, first off, the S probably stands for Snapdragon because the Snapdragon sound branding is all over the box and the app. What does Snapdragon mean to us though as customers? Well, to begin with, the NeoBuds S still has a dual driver hardware design, so there hasn't been skimping on that front. So what is Snapdragon sound? Well, it's not one thing really, but a bunch of things. Active noise cancellation for starters. ANC though is pretty much the same on both. However, transparency actually feels slightly better on the NeoBuds Pro.
And since we're talking about transparency, let's see how these earbuds perform in their ambient mode with different settings. So right now listening to this with nothing in your ears. Hey, why don't you listen to it with some NeoBuds Pro?
This is the ambient mode on max on the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. Does it sound okay? Can you hear my voice? Do I sound like a human person? Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Are you okay? I hope I'm not hurting you. There you go.
Is that okay? I hope that's
Ambient
okay.
sound.
That's how the ambient mode performs on the Neobuds S. So you're hearing this as if you have the Neobuds S in your ears, and I've enabled this ambient mode. Is it better than the NeoBuds Pro? What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. And the Pro also has a transparency slider from 1 to 3, which the S does not. However, there is more white noise and radio interference on the Pro compared to the S. But this is only noticeable when it's quiet. One thing that's unique here is the addition of the wind noise reduction setting, and it works. In any other mode on the Pro or the S, you will hear the wind in the earbuds, but the wind reduction does a good job of cutting it out. Ideal for when you find yourself on the bike trying to listen to some tunes. And since you want to be aware of your surroundings, then it actually reduces the noise cancelling on the wind noise reduction mode.
But we hear you asking us, does this new wind reduction feature do anything for microphones and improve calls in the wind? Well, we're glad you asked. Rohan, why don't you take a walk?
What? Oh, okay.
Alright guys, here we are on the beautiful cycling bridge, which I always come to with a little bit of wind in my microphones, and hopefully you can also hear how windy it is and see it with my hair, poorly coiffed hair. So, can you hear the wind? Can you hear my voice clearly? This is the Edifier NeoBuds S. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. We can test how the microphones perform on the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. Do you hear the wind clearly? Do you also hear my voice? So here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a little bit more than a gentle breeze. It's not a very strong wind, but there is enough wind for you to figure out if it affects the microphones in a negative way or a positive way. And we've just missed golden hour, but there's a little bit of golden sun behind me. So pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
In general, the calls are good for quiet conditions because both these buds amplify your voice quite well. Unfortunately, they amplify just about everything else too. So beeps and pings and notifications and cats and drills, nothing gets discriminated against, and the listener's ears will be equally assaulted with all the sounds. Also, in more than a light breeze, they tend to fall apart a bit. And while on ANC, the battery life on the NeoBuds S is also slightly improved. You can get about 30 minutes more out of the buds at 5.5 hours and an additional hour out of the case at 16 hours. Again, this is a slight change. And guys, here's the kicker. No, it's not that subtle change from white to gold on the buds and the case, but that LED on the front, that Night Rider one, it can do colors now.
Colorize, colorize, one kiss was all it took. Colorize, colorize, the oldest trick in the book.
Okay, more seriously, the sound. Look, we know we should have a Snapdragon phone to get the most out of these earbuds, but what can we do? We live in Europe. I have 2 Samsung phones, both Exynos, and that iPhone I have is certainly not snapping any dragons. So we're not going to get any lossless wireless audio here. But people, are you going to now buy earbuds based on which processor your phone or device has? Isn't that just worse? So we're going to keep it simple and just focus on the sound hitting our ears. And you know what? The tuning is largely the same. The bass on the NeoBuds S is a little less audible, but they still very much retain the NeoBuds Pro V shape. On the treble, I did detect some more refinement and less harsh peaks, but largely the sound signature on Android stays the same. And if you're an Apple person, beware. Edifier informed us that they're in the process of dropping AAC codecs from their newer products. On the NeoBuds S that we have, I ran a log and the console clearly shows an AAC connection on macOS and the sound was fine as well. But we really hope Edifier does release the NeoBuds S with AAC, because if it doesn't, you're going to be stuck with the most basic Bluetooth codec for your iPhones and Macs, SBC. Do not expect great things for sound here. We think that this is going to be a compromise going forward for you wireless audio lovers out there, so that Snapdragon sound, it might actually turn off a lot of iPhone users. Unless Edifier knows something about Apple's audio roadmap and is preparing for that.
Ooh la la.
And then there's the price. You can easily find the NeoBuds Pro for about $100 these days. And the new and improved NeoBuds S, that's going to set you back around $180 with probably a discount at launch. But let's talk about if they're worth it.
So the NeoBuds Pro had its flaws. For example, the app is a bit dodgy in the permissions it asks you. The Bluetooth connectivity can sometimes be a bit unstable. There are some radio interference-like sounds for calling and ambient mode. There is no smart pause or wireless charging. The microphones are mediocre in noisy or windy conditions, and there's no support for multi-point connections. And these flaws are automatically our wish list for the next iteration. So here's a list of the flaws that Edifier fixed on the NeoBuds S. Yeah, they fixed none of them. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. The NeoBuds S to us is pretty much identical to the NeoBuds Pro. And we love the NeoBuds Pro. But for around $80 more and only a change in its color, the ability to change the LED color, and a wind reduction mode in the app, it's a hard sell. Additionally, Edifier planning to drop AAC on their new products, including maybe the NeoBuds S, makes us wonder how these will sound on Apple products in the future. Our advice, save your money and stick to the Edifier NeoBuds Pro, as long as you can still get it. You've been looking for NeoBuds S? And we've been DHRME. Namaste.